Max, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for your time.
Max, you launched the business in August 2016. You made your first cornerstone acquisition in January 2017. Give us a little bit of background to the business.
Okay, the business started, as you said, in August as an AIM-15 cash shell. And the whole idea was there's been a huge amount of consolidation over the last 10-15 years in this sector, and we've reached a point where a lot of that is actually seems to be reversing now. That means that there's quite a few interesting acquisitions which fall out of the larger groups. And I saw, as we were consolidating even further with the Lafarge-Holcim merger, that there was an opportunity for a newcomer in this sector, especially in Western Europe, UK, to pick up a number of the interesting businesses that would eventually fall out of the Lafarge-Holcim and other majors in this sector.
Now, you've also had some good institutional support.
We were very lucky with this first acquisition that we have both large institutional investors and actually some more private individuals, entrepreneurs. And that sort of combination is quite key and quite interesting, because it means that not only do institutions see the space for this kind of business to be grown, but also entrepreneurs smell the opportunity to make a bit of money out of the sector, which is really nice.
You've obviously seen the opportunities in the European construction materials marketplace, but why now?
Sort of touched upon it just now. It's primarily because how the industry has evolved. Large businesses have grown in this space. They cover most, if not all, of the market in most of the areas. And large businesses are not always good at running smaller businesses. So there is an opportunity for us as a sort of a smaller entity in this space to pick up smaller businesses and run them as local small businesses, which is really what should happen in an industry which is so local and so territorially focused as construction materials.
Your first cornerstone acquisition of Ronez was for £45 million of cash. Give us a little more detail to this acquisition.
So Ronez is a business we, as a management team, knew from before. It was part of the Lafarge-Holcim group, been in the ownership of that group for a long time. It's a very nice, well-run, high-quality asset. For us as a new starting business, it gives us a platform to grow from. Not only just as a £45 million business, 30 million pounds of revenue, but the processes, the infrastructure, the back office, the logic and of how to really build a company. The business itself, in our view, has quite a few opportunities to even perform better than it does now. And it really is that cornerstone from which we can then grow into other markets.
Max, one of the key pillars to the company is the team that you've formed. Give us a little bit more background to yourself and the rest of the team.
The core team of this business worked together in Holcim as part of the Holcim group. That included myself, Charlie Trigg, and David Barrett, the chairman. Charlie was my operations and effectively my right hand when I was leading the Lafarge-Holcim merger for the Northern European section of the business. And David Barrett ran at that point in time the London Concrete, which is a company he founded from a piece of paper back in '97 and sold to the group. So the three of us worked very closely together on different projects already within Holcim and successfully as well. And having such a team as a starting point of a business is always very, very good. In my private equity days, that was something we really looked for. Has the team operated together in a successful manner? And we were able, on top of this, to attract Patrick Dolberg to join the board as an NED. He was Group Exco for Western Europe, which is a multi-billion section of the Holcim Group, ran the US and Canada before that. From a building materials perspective, the caliber of people that we've been able to assemble is quite unique. And that, I think, should bring a lot of confidence to investors that we can actually get it right.
Now, also interesting for investors is obviously your dividend policy.
We've announced in the admission document with the acquisition of Ronez that we are open to paying a dividend. What that dividend will be is something that the board will discuss over the course of this year. The key statement we wanted to give here as well was the type of assets we pick up, this high quality businesses in niche opportunities, allow us to present a growth strategy while paying a dividend. And that is something that is quite unique for a starting business, to be able to do both at the same time. And I think that with the type of assets we're looking at the moment, we can actually do both.
Max, you've obviously made a great start, formed the company, first cornerstone acquisition, but what are the plans for 2017?
We're looking at quite a vast pipeline of ideas at the moment. We're working on a number of them actively as we speak, and there's a few other ones we've got on the radar already. So the year 2017 for us will really focus on two things. We need to make sure that the Ronez business is integrated into the SigmaRoc group properly without any hiccups. That's quite key because it's obviously decoupling a business out of a major supplier with all the processes in the back office that such a group provides. So that's focus number one. And then focus number two is looking at the number of the pipelines ideas we have and maybe picking one or two up. We'll come back to the market with news when we have it.
Well, Max, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.